Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. Today I have a very informative upload to share with you. One that will leave you asking a lot of questions and possibly very upset with the media and government. Before we get into it, a couple links. As you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, and my merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. The links to Patreon and PayPal are in the description below, my merch displayed directly under the video. Also, Dogman Frightening Encounters Volume 1 through 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeff Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, the links to which are also in the description as well. And finally, last but definitely not least, if you'd really like to help support this channel to continue to grow and go, simply subscribe, click the like button, and please leave a comment. It really does help, and it definitely matters. And now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's get on with today's upload, shall we? This is a case that I looked into a couple years back, and I'd like to thank the subscriber who sent me an email today letting me know that there was some new information in the media to take a look at it. So thank you. I'm leaving him nameless because he did not say that I could use his name. So anonymity is always respected, my friends. Let's get into it. Hey, so another tragic media government cover-up. I had mentioned it at the end of last night's upload. I covered this probably 3 years ago, and there was very limited information about it. Normally, when I cover one of these cases, I really look into all of the aspects and try and see that if it is what they are saying it is. A lot of times when they say it was a dog attack or some sort of animal attack, it is. And then there are those times that it isn't. I remember 3 days before Thanksgiving, 2 years ago, there was a home health nurse attacked by wild boar in Texas. And as I looked into the case, I looked at the population of the wild hog, just different things. And then I got to think about the whole aspect of the case, and I was like, no, really doesn't make any sense. And then I pursued looking more into everything, and I don't think it was wild hog. There's been cases. There was a case where a woman was killed in Houston, Texas, and I looked into that. And to me, it looked and seemed, because there was DNA evidence on the dogs that were accused of the attack, that was what they were saying it was. So when I looked at this case, I had a hard time. First, I hadn't looked at that many cases like this. I think at the time there was Brenda Hamilton, who was savagely attacked in an early morning attack in North Carolina. Corey Godsey. And I think I looked into this right before Dr. Nancy Shaw there was a lot. There was a lot of these crazy cases that kind of just, bam, came up. But this one was a lot older. This one was from 2009 with very limited information. And a young woman, a talented young woman who had so much in front of her, lost her life. And I don't think it was what they are saying. Some 13 years later, there is information that still doesn't make any sense. All right. I want you guys to think about this. Yes, coyotes can be dangerous. Okay. But coyotes only weigh max 46 pounds. We'll give it 50 pounds, 60 pounds max. Okay? Now, hear me out. Remember that. Hear me out on this. Canadian folk singer killed by coyotes, park officials say. October 30th, 2009. A rising Canadian folk singer was killed by coyotes this week in a national park in Nova Scotia, a spokesman says on Thursday. Taylor Mitchell, 19, was at the beginning of Skyline Trail in Cape Breton Highlands National Park on Tuesday afternoon when she was attacked, according to Chip Bird, the Parks Canada Field Unit Superintendent for Cape Breton. Bird said hikers saw the coyotes attacking Mitchell and called 911. She was airlifted to the hospital in Halifax, where she died 12 hours later. Mitchell was recently nominated for the Young Performer of the Year honors by Canadian Folk Music Awards. She was touring the Maritime Province and had a break between gigs to go hiking Tuesday. Her manager, Lisa Weitz, said in an email. She loved the woods and had a deep affinity for their beauty and serenity, she wrote. Words cannot begin to express the sadness and tragedy of losing such a sweet, compassionate, vibrant, phenomenally talented young woman, White said. Her warmth, loving nature, astounding artistry, infectious enthusiasm will be so missed and forever remembered. Mitchell, who was originally from the Georgian Bay in Ontario, lived in Toronto. Bird said the area where the attack occurred is popular and well-traveled. It remained closed, and park authorities had shot one coyote believed to be involved. The pathologist will test the animal's body for diseases that may have triggered the attack. Searches for other aggressive animals in the park continue, he said. Public safety is our primary concern. He said no coyote attacks have ever occurred in this park. We've had coyotes approach people too closely, he said. And about 6 years ago, one nipped a person. The animal was killed because of lack of fear, he said. But Tuesday's attack was unprecedented and totally isolated. In a written statement, Emily Mitchell described her daughter as a seasoned naturalist, well-versed in wilderness camping. She loved the woods and had a deep affinity for their beauty and serenity. Tragically, it was her time to be taken from us too soon. We take the calculated risk when spending time in nature's fold. It's the wildlife's terrain, Emily Mitchell's statement continued. When the decision had been made to kill a pack of coyotes, I clearly heard Taylor's voice say, "Please don't. It's their space." She wouldn't have wanted their demise, especially as a result of her own. She was passionate about animals, was an environmentalist, and was also planning to volunteer at the Toronto Wildlife Centre in the coming months. Michael Johnson, Mitchell's producer for her debut album, For Your Consideration, said the singer was brilliant, beautiful, a light that people were naturally drawn to. She was young and talented, big dreams, perfect match for her big, kind heart. He said he and his family would soon be organizing a celebration of her life. Coyote attacks on humans are extremely rare, said Michael O'Brien, wildlife management of fur bearers in the upland game of Nova Scotia. It is not expected or normal behavior, he said, although he said there have been aggressive incidents in Nova Scotia but no deaths. Illness, injury, and familiarity with humans can affect an animal's behavior, he said. Now, when I looked at the case, and I went back just now, well, not just now, but an hour ago, and looked at the details or the area where she was attacked was at the beginning of this Skyline Trail at Cape Benton. Cape Benton is a cape. There is, as you're walking up this trail, you can see the seaside. Where the first attack that they're talking about happened was an isolated incident deeper into the woods, much later in the day. Almost sunset, to be exact. It was around 6, 7 o'clock. When Taylor was attacked, it was early afternoon. Coyotes, yes, they have been observed in the daytime, but primarily their choice or natural hunting or movement time is right around sunset and on. People have seen coyotes in the daytime, isolated, all right? Where the first, not where Taylor's attack occurred, but where the first person got bit. And it was a nip. And it wasn't because the coyote approached him. The coyote was standing there, and the person reached for the coyote. That's what happens. We see it a lot on TikTok. We see these people grabbing wild animals, holding them. I saw a video the other day, my daughter showed me, where this guy had found a fox pup. I don't know if he rescued it or not, or it got separated from its mom, but he picked it up and it was trying to bite him. These are wild animals. That's what they do. We don't approach them in their own habitat. I don't think what happened to Taylor was a coyote attack. First of all, if you Google Skyline Trail, Cape Benton, there is no way in heck that there would be a coyote at the beginning of that trail. I don't know if you can see it here, but that's the seaside right here. This is a cedar walkway. And that goes on for a while. She was up a ways, but still on the cedar walkway, in just going into the woods. It really doesn't make any sense, does it? Well, the newest article from December 18th, yes, yesterday, or, well, I'm recording this Monday night, so yesterday, but 2 days ago. The heading of it: What killed Taylor Mitchell? Experts have a new theory about how teen singer was mauled to death 13 years ago. That's pretty strange, isn't it? Why are they thinking about new theories 13 years later? That's one thing you need to ask yourself. Now, I'm not saying what we're going to hear in this article is not true, but however strange it is, you really have to think about what they're saying in this article, okay? Nova Scotia, Canada. An intriguing new theory has emerged about coyotes that killed a budding Canadian singer-songwriter while she was out hiking in Nova Scotia 13 years ago. Taylor Mitchell, 19, was alone and hiking in a national park 2009 when animals attacked. When other walkers heard her cries, they called for help and arrived to find her bleeding profusely and covered in bite marks. Mitchell succumbed to her injuries in a hospital later, and the attack sparked unfounded theories about coyote behavior and garnered international attention. According to the Daily Mail, researchers now claimed that coyotes in Cape Breton Highlands National Park have adapted to scarce food supplies before this tragic incident. They developed hunting and killing skills they learned to prey on bigger creatures, such as moose. Mitchell may have been a victim of this recent discovered trait, according to Stanley Garrett, the primary author of an article that was recently published in the Journal of Applied Ecology. Mitchell's death is only the second fatal coyote attack or death in North America. Mitchell's death, the only second fatal coyote death in North America. She was preparing to start her solo tour to support her budding musical career. When coyotes are used to taking down a 700-pound animal, and you have a single woman walking by herself, it seems perfectly natural to assume that they simply saw her as a novel food item, Garrett told CTV News Atlantic, adding, "Our argument would be that the coyotes' ability to survive is tied to their ability to switch from one food source to another, and those coyotes were eating a diet completely of moose." Okay. This Stanley Garrett, primary author, we don't know any more traits or any more education, but let's just say he is he's got his PhD or something in ecology. Is assume a word you are going to likely hear from a person like that? I don't think so. I really don't. People of science usually don't use that word assume because they break things down, and when they make a statement, they go about proving that statement with better wording, more facts to back a statement. All right. At least one moose carcass located during winter coyote tracking showed signs of predation, and on other occasions, live adult moose were observed with fresh wounds consistent of coyote bites, in addition to coyote tracks leading to the moose. The study, supported by Parks Canada and Nova Scotia Department of Lands and Forestry, reportedly said. Okay, so they found a dead moose with coyote tracks leading up to it. Coyotes are scavengers and small game. They're almost an omnivore. And for those of you who will doubt that, because coyotes, birds, squirrels, insects, frogs, lizards, prickly pear, watermelon, marmot, cantaloupe, wheat, black bear, they will eat whatever. All right, they're almost an omnivore. They are carnivorous because of their canine teeth, and they are a canine. But when an animal, if you think, oh, okay, does that make a squirrel a carnivore? Because squirrels will kill the other squirrels and chipmunks and eat them. But yet we look at squirrels, and science will tell us that they are omnivore or vegetarians or whatever, herbivores, excuse me. So coyotes in the park are not subject to hunting or trapping, so they do not have a natural aversion to people. They had conditioned themselves to go after large prey, and this was something small. Didn't they just tell us in the article prior that this park and this trail, which, if you look it up, is very heavily traveled? Well, when you have a park that's very heavily traveled, the wildlife in that area will become leery of humans because humans are naturally loud. All right. In the past, coyote attacks have been caused by exposure to human food, but Mitchell was not one of those victims. According to the study, none of the 5 coyotes killed after the deadly attack, including the 2 that may have been responsible, showed any signs of having eaten human food before. I don't know. I don't view that coyotes in Cape Breton as being more dangerous right now than any other coyotes, Garrett said. Concluding, Cape Breton's system produces some novel types of behavior, but it's temporary. The fact that we haven't had anything like it happen again puts it into context. It's manageable by increasing people's awareness. We can keep the risk extremely low. The reason why you haven't had it again was because it wasn't coyotes. Because it was something much bigger. You don't... There has been attacks on moose. I looked into it, and yes, but not by 5 coyotes. More like 25. A kind of almost a small super pack. There's nothing about that article that sits well with me. First of all, it's a very highly traveled, highly visited park. It has a cedar pathway for a very large portion of that hike. The sea is right there. If these people saw the coyote attacking the girl, why didn't they run to her aid? Pick up a stick. I would have. I think the majority of you would. It would be, I'd be fearful, but I could not watch a young woman getting bit by coyotes that weigh 45 pounds, knowing that here I am, 185 pounds, with a stick in my hand and ready to smash some skull. I'm going to let this person die. Or maybe I'm different. I don't know. But I don't think I am. Because I feel the majority of you would do the same. Why didn't they help? Probably because there was no person there watching or walking by. Yet they killed these 5 coyote nowhere near where the attack happened. Days after, it took them a while to find any kind of coyote. And you have someone who is a researcher of ecology using the word assume. It'd be decent if it came out of my mouth on my channel to you guys, because We're in a field of theory, speculation, first and second hand experiences, yada yada. But when it comes to nature and wildlife and ecology, that's an exact science. The word assume doesn't fit in an exact science. That's just my thought. Maybe I'm wrong. Chances are, once again, the majority of you feel that same way. Now that you're hearing it, science doesn't have a word assume attached. It's facts. We always heard it when we were kids. Scientists, this is based on facts, presentation, the truth, da 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 da. That's why this field, even though it's a scientific field, isn't really taken too serious because it's only based on theory. Well, and then 13 years later, they just spring an article up. Did something happen? Did something happen where they have to protect themselves? Was there a Dogman spotted? Was there possibly, possibly was there a Dogman spotted and they are afraid of another attack happening? So what do we have to do? We have to quickly prearrange a cover-up. Let's say in a week from now a person's attacked. Oh my God, we told you it was coyotes. We told you moose aren't even safe in this place. The coyotes are running rampant. Oh my God, it's chaos. Bullshit. Makes no sense, does it? If it makes sense to you, hit me with a board right in the dome piece because it makes no sense to me. Some of it does. Some of it. A pack of 25 can take down a moose. We're talking about a 700-pound monster animal that chased bear. All right? I'm sure everyone has seen that. There's a TikTok or a video running around where a moose is chasing a bear. A grizzly bear. The bear is so afraid that it hits a wall, thunk, and gets back up and starts running. Moose are not a joke. 60-pound max. 60-pound max. Isn't going to take out with 5 a moose. That's 300 pounds combined max versus 700 pounds of a destroyer. You know, they can club you. It just no sense. To me, it was almost like they had to cover their bases just in case something comes up. Someone was hiking that trail and saw something. Went to the Canadian Fish and Wildlife and said, hey man, we just saw this. We have no idea. They were like, oh my God. We already know. Let's not to the people, but to each other. We already know what's going on. We gotta kind of get our head in the game. Let's preemptively cover our asses with this. That way, if it is, we can say, we warned you. Coyotes are dangerous. They kill moose. They will kill you. If they can kill a moose, they'll kill you. Stay out of the woods. This makes no sense to me. If it makes sense to you, please explain how. And I'm willing to listen. But to me right now, it doesn't make any sense. And I hope I shared with you some valid points. With that, I want to thank you all for all your support. It truly means the world to me. May the Great Spirit watch over us all. And please, everyone, be safe. And if you're up in Canada, be safer because you got wild coyotes out there. Wild coyotes. This is driving me bonkers, man. Gansevoort, New York. It's 10 minutes from where I am right now. Behind my house, growing up, there was farm fields, just fields and fields. And we could hear the coyotes running through those fields. And we'd set up our tents. We had a 5-story chicken barn with a 3-story connected to it. And we'd set up our tents behind that in this huge hayfield. And we'd hear them running through those fields, just yipping. Never once did they come up. Something's wacky about this case. And I'm going to end it there. All right? Thank you. Be safe. Stay blessed.